What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Sports Your Enthusiasm Podcast. This is your weekly podcast about all of your favorite sports topics and events. You know me by now. I am your humble host, Bryce Benjamin. I got a special guest in the building today. One of my old friends from high school. We go way back. My man Erik Stopa is in the building.
What's happening, man?
What's going on, Stopa? How you feeling, my dude?
I'm all right. I'm doing good. I'm here.
Man. I appreciate you coming by, man.
For sure.
So, brought Stopa in today, and we are going to be talking UFC 245, Usman versus Colby Covington. Well, and actually, if you look at the card, that joint is stacked. I'm looking forward to talking about that.
Belts?
Man, yeah. 3 title fights, right?
Yep.
And then before that, though, we're gonna talk a little bit about Week 14 in the NFL. Kind of do a little wrap up on that one there. But before we get too deep into things, anytime I have a guest on here, Stopa, I want to give them a chance to let the fans know their fanhood. So, people listening out there, I want you to listen, and you're going to let them know your favorite teams, sports, players, and then we talking UFC, favorite fighters, all time, however you want to do it. The floor is yours, my friend.
Right on. Thank you. Thanks for having me again, bro.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, football-wise, NFL, man, I'm Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia.
Yesterday hurt a little bit. I know you're a Ravens fan.
Yes, sir.
But, I feel like we did all right. I like the Bills. I'm a Bills fan, but more I follow fantasy so hard.
Okay.
So I kind of just pick players. And
Got
then,
you.
you know what I mean? I'm not like no bandwagon, but I do like Lamar, like Russell Wilson, stuff like that. Certain players that really stick out to me.
Yeah.
This is who I follow. But core team, Bills Mafia.
There you go.
You know.
Respect.
And then for like fighting and stuff, that depends on what weight class we're talking about.
Yeah.
But like Conor McGregor when he's active. But really, dude, I'm hyped on Max Holloway. And then Kamaru Usman. People are like, he's kind of boring. He's a decision fighter, but he's a technician. He knows what he's doing.
Straight grit and grind, man.
Yeah,
that's a fact. Speaking of fighting, like UFC in general, you do mixed martial arts yourself, right?
Yeah, I did a little bit. I haven't done it in a while. Got caught up in life, a little bit of working and stuff, but here and there, I like to sprinkle it in.
Yeah, how was it? That seemed like I was actually thinking about getting into like taking up some type of martial arts. It looks pretty fun.
I would do it, definitely. I recommend it. Like around here, if you're gonna go anywhere, I do Fight Sport. They're pretty good with the Reed brothers, but it's like it's fun. It really is fun.
Yeah, and
then like if you get to doing fights and stuff like that and events, it just like it's another feeling, like especially because like doing sports in high school or like football, it's a team sport. Even like wrestling, you got your few moments, but it's, I want to say, a little safer wrestling, you know what I mean? Like fighting, it's just like it could be lights out, or it's like you're putting someone's lights out.
Yeah, so. Just like that. I feel you on that one. All right, man, that's pretty dope. Well, let's go ahead and kick this off, man. Let's talk a little bit of NFL Week 14. Well, at least Sunday I surpassed so far. We had some really big games. We can start off where, Baltimore and Buffalo, which watching the game, coming into the game, I'm not going to lie, I thought it was going to be a blowout. I predicted the Ravens to win 34-13. I kind of did so with the mindset of I thought Josh Allen was going to have one of those games where he just consistently just turns the ball over against our defense, and we just took the good field position and would punch it in from there. It turned out to be much closer than what I originally thought. Final score being 24-17. Shout out to Buffalo, man. They definitely gained more of my respect. I'm not going to lie, particularly that defense. That is a championship level defense.
Yeah, that defense is nasty.
That was probably, next to Pittsburgh, that was probably the best I've seen a team contain Lamar Jackson and his offense, particularly during his win streaks. Right now, Baltimore's on a 9-game win streak. Lamar, even though he had 3 touchdowns passing the ball, 145 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then 11 carries for 40 yards, you could tell he was not the same Lamar that we've seen over the past 5, 6, 7 games.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That Bills defense was coming, man. And the thing that I noticed the most was that they definitely had gap assignment football, and they stuck to their assignments. Mm-hmm. That's usually what happens when people play the Ravens. They get caught watching the ball, and then they go after the ball, but then the ball isn't there. It's usually, in the other person's hand. Buffalo wasn't going for that a lot. There was a couple of plays where they did fall for it, and it kind of gashed them for maybe like a first down or two, but it didn't hurt them for what will usually happen in those situations where it's like a touchdown or like a 50-yard gain down the field or some shit like that. So, yeah, shout out to the Bills defense. Offensively, though, for the Bills, Josh Allen did not look good at all. No. The offensive line didn't do a good job of protecting him. Like it was like every other play he was getting hit. Like literally every other play he was getting hit or sacked. It got rough.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. I was like, man, if they would have got the blocking, or if he would have got the blocking that he did in Dallas, and I think they were just riding that hype still. Yeah, that it showed that extra day. I think of rest may have put him back down to earth, relax a little bit, like, oh, we're still there. Yeah. But then you play Baltimore, man. You can't sleep on them.
That's a fact, man. And then, Baltimore just kept bringing the blitz. Like, it was anytime that Buffalo went empty and there's this 5 out, Baltimore's coming with a blitz, zero coverage. And he had our linebacker checking the running back. And then also, Josh Allen did have a lot of opportunities to make some plays, and he just didn't make the throw. Like, there's receivers running wide open down the field, had our corners and safeties and linebackers beat, and a lot of them he just overthrew. He nailed one of them to the tight end where he just made a crazy catch, that one-arm catch. But other than that, that's the only play I think he made, like throw he made over 30 or 25, 30 yards down the field. Singletary had a decent game. He looked good running the ball, like 17 carries, almost 90 yards rushing, averaged over 5 yards a carry. Maybe they should have stuck with the running game a little bit more because he's having five yards a pop. And they kind of did what San Francisco did to us, attacking the edge on Baltimore. Baltimore just can't contain the edge for some reason. But, Josh Allen had a rough game. The offensive line overall had a rough game. But that Bills defense, that's going to keep you guys in a lot of games, especially come playoff time, man. I don't think anybody's going to want to play that defense. That's defense wins championships.
Right. You got to stay tight, too. Tight and consistent with the defense. We'll be all right.
Yeah, and your guys are opportunistic. You guys, if a turnover opportunity is there, Buffalo's coming up with that. So what's your overall thoughts on the game, though, man? How you feeling?
Honestly, I thought it was like this is what I say, an eye opener. Because you know what I mean. Baltimore, we know is elite. Yeah, and like it's Buffalo was still the question. It's like okay, but then it's like we beat Dallas. It's like all right, everyone's hyped, but it's like all right, now we got Baltimore. So like let's see where we're at now. Yeah, and I thought we held our own. There were, like I said, we both said there were a few mistakes with the line and stuff, not getting the ball off. So I think if we tightened up those and we're still scoring, I don't think we're gonna lose.
Yeah, I like that. And on top of that, man, you guys are technically a game and a half behind New England right now because they beat you guys in the first matchup. But you still play New England again. And speaking of New England, they lost last night to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right, that helped out. That
had to feel good for you guys, man. By the way, that game overall, Kansas City and New England offense just is bad. Like Tom Brady looks bad.
It's not the same.
It's not.
Tom Brady's on the decline.
It's weird to see.
As much as they don't want to say it or admit it.
It's weird to see. He definitely is not the same quarterback. Look at his stats. The man went 19 for 36, 169 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He looked bad. Right. At this point, he can't throw the ball further than 25 yards down the field without it being just a duck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear that.
And the Patriots, I don't fear them no more.
No, it's like, all right, we'll see where we're at.
Right. Like, and you look at their record, they're 10-3. All right, they're still a good team. And main reason for that, let's be honest, is that defense. Like, that defense is still very, 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 very good. And they was getting at Mahomes last night before ultimately Kansas City took the lead and never let it go. They contained Mahomes in that Kansas City offense for the most part, but the Patriots offense just couldn't do shit, dude.
Yeah, they looked like they were just stuck. Just waiting. Like if it didn't happen, then all right, we'll just wait till next set of downs.
Yes,
and it's just like defeated before the game was over.
Mm-hmm. Brady can't move either, man. Like he never was a runner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, watching him run is funny.
It's terrible. Like it's so bad. Brady, oh my god, they just blitzing him, and like Kansas City defense definitely stepped up big time, and they was all over Brady. He was able to get an interception on him, got a couple of hits, got a few sacks. The defense overall looked really good for Kansas City. And the mighty Patriots is not looking so mighty no more. Right. You guys play them one more time, Buffalo and in New England, but that is a very winnable game for Buffalo. And if they fuck around and win that game, we could have a new division winner in the AFC East finally.
That's what I'm hoping.
That'd be a beautiful thing, a playoff game in Buffalo.
Right, and I think it's going to go different than it did the first time. Like, Buffalo was hyped. You know, they came here. There's a lot of talk. I think there was coverage from Barstool, ESPN, everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it'll be like that in New England, but I think we're going to go take it this time.
I hope so, man. I really do. I'm just waiting for the Patriots to be knocked off. I'm tired of the Belichick and Brady era. It'd be nice if Buffalo can, be real dope if y'all was to win the division and then they was to play you guys in the playoffs in Buffalo for that wild or that division round. Mm-hmm. Or was that? Yeah, that'd be wild card weekend. That'd be dope. Right. That would be really dope. I'd love to see that. Another game I wanted to talk about as well. Actually, I want to skip too far ahead. The Broncos and Texans. Did you peep that game?
A little bit of it. I couldn't believe it that the Broncos just blew them out.
They beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, that was interesting.
The final score wound up being 38-24. It was not that close, right? At all. Like I remember, obviously I was watching the Baltimore Buffalo game, but I just kept tuning in, like just looking at the scores, and I kept seeing like the Broncos every time they touched the ball, they was scoring. Yeah. Next, like I seen the score, it got to the point it was like 38-3, I think, like 38-3 or 38-6 or some crazy shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on in Houston right now? I don't get the Texans, yo.
I don't.
1 minute they beat the shit out of the Patriots. The next minute, first Baltimore, we beat the shit out of them. Then they come back and beat a big game against the Colts. They win, kill the Patriots, and then they come home and lose to the Denver Broncos.
Yep, it's either they do it big or they lose big. It's one or the other.
It doesn't make any sense, man. Drew Lock has looked really good since taking over the starting position for Broncos, the starting quarterback position. The man went 22 of 27, 309 yards and 3 touchdowns. The game before last week was his first start against the Los Angeles Chargers, and he looked really good in that game as well. I don't want to jump to conclusions for Denver fans, but it looks like that they may have their franchise quarterback finally.
Right, may have found a little momentum in there.
After recycling veteran after veteran, like Flacco I knew wasn't on to be it. Yeah. And who was in there last year before Flacco? He plays for Washington now. Case Keenum. Yeah, Keenum wasn't it, So Noah Fant, he looked really good. 4 catches for $113 and a touchdown. That's a rookie tight end for Denver. Deshaun Watson, man, I love him, but I just don't get. I don't know. Like he just seems like very up and down. In games he should win. Like you should win this game. Like there's no reason for Houston to lose that game against not even an average Denver team. They've been bad this year.
Yeah, significantly for some reason. Like he's up and down though too. Like Deshaun. It's funny because I had to play my roommate this week in fantasy, and he has him. Yeah, he has him and Lamar Jackson. So he's like, "Who should I put in?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm not telling you to play against me." But it's like he has mistakes, but then he's still, even when he has mistakes, he's still making plays. Yeah, that's crazy. Like if you just made plays and they tighten up mistakes, I think he's an elite one too. Yeah, just a little overshadowed by what happens when mistakes are made and like the Broncos capitalized on it and then ran all over their defense.
Yeah, and Houston defense looks shitty. I mean, they really don't. Since J.J. Watt been hurt, they really can't generate a pass rush. Like, who's their best pass rusher at this point? Whitley Merciless, maybe?
I think so.
Maybe, you know what I'm saying? So, and then the offensive line with Houston, that's always been a question for them as well. I don't know. Houston doesn't look like one of those teams. Like, they're probably going to win the AFC South, but it does not look like they are going to be one of those teams that would be a contender. They're more of like that. They're in their pretender stage at this point. Right. You still got Watson. He can still make some things happen. But, yeah, I wouldn't pick them right now to advance past the division or wild card round at this point.
Yeah, because it's either like DeAndre Hopkins either has 2 or 3 or 0.